So many of you may be wondering, why is it that I don't use this type of or method of dog training? Because I'm not using this method of dog training or I'm not doing this kind of training, probably I'm not a good dog trainer. Since I can't do this type of dog training, probably I'm not a good dog trainer. But the reality is that I used to use this method of dog training to train dogs. Before I became a certified expert dog trainer, I used to use this method of dog training to train dogs, and it felt good from my point of view and from client's point of view. When I say it felt good, what I mean is it's not that I was feeling good doing this type of dog training. I wasn't enjoying being physical with the dogs. The reason I started doing this method of dog training, it was because about 30 years ago when I started getting to dog training industry, I learned this method of dog training from the media that was projecting this method of dog training everywhere, and everybody was using this method of dog training. It was something that everybody was kind of familiar with, and I fell into that trap as well. I would say most popular dog trainer in that time was Cesar Milan, which later on it became a controversy for him as well. And also he changed his method because he got attacked by everybody from dog owners and dog trainers that his method was outdated and there was something wrong with that method. And that also gave me a red light that I might be doing something wrong here as well. So I may want to change my approach to dog training as well. When I say I was good at using this method to train dogs, in my mind, I assumed that I was training the dogs. I was actually physically and emotionally shutting down the dog. And that gave me an opportunity to showcase to the dog owner that, you see, it's listening to me. And the dog owner was satisfied and happy to see that the dog was under control. But the thing is that the next day, the dog had recovered. The dog had gone through this emotional journey the day before, but the next day it was ready to go back to its normal routine, normal behavior. And the dog would be doing exactly what it used to be doing. And meanwhile, I was doing the same thing as some of these dog trainers do. I give homework to the dog owner. I used to educate them. In my mind, I was educating them. I was telling them what to do. I was telling them, for example, don't let your dog get out of the doors or enter the doors before you. Don't let your dog to walk ahead of you. Don't let your dog to eat before you. Don't let your dog on the couch or on the bed. And your dog needs to feel pain and discomfort in order to understand that you're the dominant one. So I was giving all this homework to the dog owner, but the dog owners were not able to follow through this concept, these ideas that they were supposed to cause pain to their dogs or eat before the dog, or walk in a door before them, or not allow the dog to walk ahead of them. It was hard. They didn't want to cause any discomfort or pain to their dogs because they loved their dog. When you love someone, when you love your dog, you don't want to cause any pain or discomfort in that person or in that dog. So they were not able to repeat or copy me. The reason I was able to approach their dogs that way because I didn't have any emotional connection with the dog. I love dogs, but I didn't have any connection with the dog. So in my mind, I didn't have any emotional attachment with the dog. So therefore, I could physically manipulate the dog. It's not that I was enjoying getting physical with the dog. I wasn't enjoying causing pain to the dog. I wasn't enjoying causing stress in the dog or causing stress in myself. Physically and emotionally, it was too much for me to do that to the dog because it was taking a toll on me. I wasn't enjoying it. So both me and the dogs were not enjoying, and the dog owner as well wasn't enjoying this scenario that was happening. Nobody was enjoying. Yet we were getting some results. That was because the dog was shutting down and physically and mentally and emotionally was drained. Therefore, it was giving up. And in my mind, I thought, oh, I was training the dog. The dog is learning and the dog is behaving properly and we're getting results. And there was a eureka moment in my life that I realized that this is not what I want to do. This is not what I'm comfortable doing it. This is not what I signed up to do. This is not the way I want to train dogs. This is not fun. So I changed the way I approached dog training. That was when I had that eureka moment when I realized that dogs can be trained without the use of treats, aversive tools, and method, and we can approach dog training and reward dogs using play and praise. And I stopped doing that kind of stupid mentality, stupid approach to dog training. I realized, I learned, and I discovered that what I was doing was based on a method that was not approved and not studied enough actually to use as a dog training method. Basically, what that method of dog training is using aversive tools and method, using domination, using force, and using pain and discomfort to train dogs, thinking that that's how wolves do to each other. This concept of training dogs with this method had come from a false assumption of study that the person who came up with this study had come up with a narrative that didn't exist, wrote a book and published it, and people bought that book and bought that idea, thinking that is real. Years later, the author of this study admitted that he had faked this study. It wasn't real because they had brought wolves from different locations. They had picked some wolves from here, North America, South America, Europe, here and there. They had brought these wolves and put them in a captivity. So these wolves were not family members to each other. They were strangers. And when you put a bunch of strangers in an area, they will fight. They will disagree with each other. And that's what was happening. They were fighting and killing each other and dominating each other and behaving erratically, unlike any wolves. And these people, they thought that's how wolves treat each other. So we have to use this concept with dogs because wolves are dogs' ancestors. So we have to use this concept on dogs as well.
Actually, I'm very much to blame for the term alpha being used with wolves. I published a book in 1970 that now has over 110,000 copies in circulation, and in that I labeled the top wolf in the pack the alpha. And I did that because at that time that's all that science knew. But we've learned a lot. That book was published in 1970, and in the 35 years since that time, we've learned an awful lot. One of the things we've learned is that the term alpha is really incorrect when applied to most wolf pack leaders.
The study itself was flawed, but if you study wolves the right way, you'll notice that they have this family ranking, just like humans. They live just like humans. They have a family, parents and kids and siblings and all that, family members, and they are always treating each other with respect, treating each other with kindness. They're very gentle. They're very scared of humans, actually. They don't want to come across humans and deal with humans. They're very private. Because they are wild animals, they do go and hunt and kill and eat just like any other animal, but they're not aggressive. They don't treat each other aversively. They don't cause pain in each other unless certain situations happen. A stranger wolf comes in the group and wants to join in the group. They may accept that wolf or they may refuse that wolf. Wolves in general, they need to live in a pack because that's how they survive. And if a wolf is lone wolf, it means that they may not survive and they may die. A wolf can become a lone wolf maybe because it's injured or it's not following the rules of the pack. So the pack will kick that wolf out of the pack and it'll become a lone wolf and it won't survive. So most wolves, they want to live in a pack. They want to follow rules, respect each other, be kind and all that. So by understanding all these, I started learning new concepts, and that was when I changed my approach to dog training and stopped using the aversive methods and ideas of dog training and approach dog training in more sophisticated way of training dogs, not just positive method of dog training, but I'm understanding what really matters to a dog and what really matters to a dog owner. A dog owner most of the time treats and approaches their dog as a family member. And the way you treat a family member is different than a wild animal. Dog becomes a pet, a family member, and you want to approach it from that point of view that you want to build a relationship with this animal. And this animal is also trying to build a relationship with the human, because dogs have been bred and designed by humans for humans. So we have this connection naturally already. So we just have to work on improving the relationship. When you approach dog training using aversive tools and methods, or even using treats or tools or gadgets, you are actually working on disconnecting that connection. Whatever you're doing, you're causing the relationship and the connection to be disconnected. But when you approach dog training from the point of view of family member, a loved one, and you approach it from more natural form of connection, building connection and relationship using play and praise, where you're approaching it in a way that you would approach humans. When you want to build a relationship with human, you connect with them with respect and you say we match in a way. We are connecting using fun, using respect, using activities that will make us to become one. And play and praise as a reward becomes a way of connecting with your dog. And when I realized that, when I learned that, and I started to use that method of dog training with dogs, not only I personally started getting great results out of my approach with my own dogs, but then I learned that I can share this information with other dog owners as well and help them to realize how simple dog training is. If you approach it from a more humane, more natural form, you will have great success in your dog training journey and also in your relationship with your dog. In my opinion, all these dogs who have certain behavioral issues to the point that leads to aggression and reactivity, and then you have to use aversive methods or aversive tools, that's a clear indication that the human and the dog are disconnected completely. And why is it that the human and the dogs are disconnected? That's because they haven't had a healthy relationship from the beginning. The dog has not been able to connect with the human. So that has caused this dog to develop stress and anxiety to the point that leads to reactivity and aggression. And the dog feels that it's alone and it's not able to connect with humans. And when a dog cannot connect with humans, it becomes a wild dog. And with a wild dog, you have to treat them differently. And we can always connect with that dog if we take the right steps. And using aversive methods, tools, and even treats or any gadgets is not the answer. It's not the way you connect with a dog. Those are band-aid solutions. They don't last long. They don't give you the real connection that you need. It doesn't start to give you the solutions and give you the result. When you use aversive tools and methods and gadgets, you're actually disconnecting yourself from dogs. So what I do now with my clients, I help them to first to build a foundation based on real connection with the dog. Once we build that connection with our dogs, then we can start building techniques and ideas that takes them to go from obedience to agility, to do fly ball, to do scent work, to do protection, to do rescue, to become therapy dogs, and on and on. But we have to start from building that foundation. And if we can't build that foundation, then we have problem. So if you want to learn more about my program, and if you want to become an educated dog owner who can build a healthy foundation and healthy relationship with their dog, I invite you to join my online coaching and training program, Perfect Dog Plan. If you're interested in joining the program, there is a link in the description which leads you to a form that you can fill out, and then book a free video call with me to see if you're the right individual for this program and if I'm the right individual to lead you in this program. The program is based on invitation only. I hope you enjoyed this content. If you're enjoying content like this and you want to hear and see more of this type of content, let me know. Give this video a thumbs up. Please share and make sure to subscribe to the channel as well. And until next time, have fun with your dog.